everybody, this is Sylvie from Goatee Productions.
And Sean from Goatee Productions.
And today we're here to talk about Valve. Pretty much all Valve all the time.
Well, Steam, mostly.
Well, who makes Steam? Who makes Steam and all the associated products?
Magical Pixie Fairies.
Right, Valve. That's what I said. Valve.
Game Newell.
So, exactly, he's the King Pixie himself. Man, never heard him described as that, but there it is. And off the rails already. This is great. So we're here to talk about pretty much four things. Three is just...
Four things, Sylvie, because that's 3 plus 1.
Why don't you shut up?
Okay, so the first 3 things are the Valve announcements, the Steam announcements.
Yep, pretty much.
Which were SteamOS, which is a Linux-based gaming-focused OS that gets more out of your computer, so you get more for your bang for your buck. The Steam Machine, or Steambox if you will, which is their home console, which is going to have a bunch of different models that you could plug into a TV and get the SteamOS experience in your living room. And the Steam Controller, which is it looks a little bit like an Xbox controller form factor, except instead of thumbsticks, it's got 2 touch screens. So it's a bit like having 2 touch pads from a laptop underneath your thumbs, with mouse movement instead of analog stick movement, with a touch screen in the middle and buttons to the sides.
As well as that, I think instead of talking about it, I think we're just going to get this out of the way. They've also, as of recording this, although they're not going to go back on it, trademarked Half-Life 3, but, don't get your hopes up. That had to happen at some point, right?
Yeah, they weren't going to release it without trademarking Half-Life 3.
So either way, one step closer. How many years has it been? 7?
7, because the last Half-Life game came out in 06 with the Orange Box.
Oh boy, that's wow, it's been 7 years since Team Fortress 2 and all of those came out. That's ridiculous.
You guys are watching right now. You're watching our... We meant to only record a little bit, and then we recorded a little bit more, and then we recorded 2 hours, so we're just using footage for everything. And also, I recorded in the completely wrong resolution, so you get to watch half the video in 16 by 10.
Yay! Alright, well, I'll deal with it, no big deal. So, alright, let's go in order. First thing, what was it? It was SteamOS.
You forgot for a second, but yeah, it's SteamOS, which, like I said earlier, it's Steam seems to be going more towards Linux because it's so open.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a Linux-based, basically a complete overhaul, a Linux-based gaming operating system focused entirely. It's like having an entire operating system operate like Steam Big Picture.
Here's what I really want to know about it. I want to know how open is it going to be to modding and having people just make their own, probably add-ons, I guess.
It's probably going to be extremely open because it's Linux.
Right, but is it going to be like, this is the official one from Valve, and, you add add-ons or like custom makes like based on the version or however it's going to be.
This pulls into the second part where it's like, well, it's probably going to work a little bit like how Android may work now. Mm-hmm. Because Android has a bunch of different systems that work on a bunch of different phones. They have a bunch of different people. Whereas SteamOS is probably going to have similar different versions for different hardware because there's going to be a bunch of different types of Steambox.
Yeah. As well, yeah. What is the tagline they said? That gaming is not a one-size-fits-all experience?
Yeah. So basically the Steambox is what it's going to be. This is our second announcement now. The Steambox it's a console, but it's a computer. It's a computer in the shape of a console, essentially. It's a desktop computer that runs the SteamOS Linux operating system. And it's streamlined entirely, so even if the hardware isn't up to spec, it can still get the most out of it and play most, if not all, games on the Steam marketplace. And what I'm really excited about is the controller.
Oh boy.
Because the controller isn't a controller interface, it's a mouse and keyboard interface.
Mm-hmm.
It works for all games, past, present, and future, because on the games that aren't set up for controller, it emulates a mouse and keyboard and fools them to thinking it's a mouse and keyboard because the mouse inputs, which are the analog sticks, are just touchpads. So it's more like a touchpad, so it works like a mouse. Mm-hmm. So that fools the game into thinking that's a mouse and keyboard, and you can just rebind the controls from there.
See, what I really like about it is that, first of all, the button layout is, I won't say completely different, it's still a controller, right? It's still the whole, hold it with both hands, whatever, controller. But what I like about it is that, first of all, the trackpads, those are nice. Apparently, I believe Team Meat, you guys did Super Meat Boy, if I'm not
they
a
said it worked
idiot.
perfectly fine with it.
Said it worked very well. So that's good to know. The buttons, the A, B, X, and Y, I believe, that are on them, are right beside the trackpad, so they're not generally where the buttons would be. That's
you
what
can
the
also
trackpad is.
click the trackpad itself, and it gives you haptic
Oh,
feedback, which is it's like Rumble but better because it's not just a lopsided weight on a servo motor.
That sounds pretty good. And it's got, I think, 16 buttons, if I'm not mistaken, 16 or 18.
Plus the touchpad in the middle.
Right. What I really like is that they added 2 buttons where I've never seen a controller have them. Basically, if you were holding it, it would be right where your pinky and ring fingers would be, which I think is a really good way to add an extra button without being too invasive. And I'm surprised no one's ever thought of that before. Although I guess that's what happens with innovators. Everyone looks at their invention and goes, "Ah, why didn't we think of that?"
So, the last announcement is simply that Half-Life 3, everybody. We all knew it was coming out. It's not a big surprise. It's just sign of progress, which is always exciting, but it's not a big deal until they announce a date.
Exactly.
So, until next time, I've been Sean from GoTee Productions.
And I've been Sylvie from GoTee Productions.
And we will see you next time.